जय राधा माधव जय कुंज विहारी जय राधा माधव जय कुंज विहारी जय गोपी जन जय गिरिवरधारी जय गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन जय दुर्जनंदन यमुना तीरावनचारी जय राधा माधव जय कुंज विहारी जय गोपी जन जय गिरिवरधारी जय गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन जय ब्रजनंदन यमुना तीरावनचारी जय राधा माधव जय कुंज विहारी राधा माधव जय कुंज विहारी Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Jagannath, Jai Baladev, Jai Subhadra, Sudarsana. Jai Jagannath, Jai Baladev, Jai Subhadra, Sudarsana. Jai Jagannath, Jai Baladev, Jai Subhadra, Sudarsana. Jai Jagannath, Jai Jagannath, Jai Jagannath, Jai Jagannath, Jai Jagannath, Jai Jagannath, Jagannatha Jai Jagannath Janata Swami Janata Jai Janata Swami Janata Janata Swami Janata Jai Jagannath, Jai Jagannath, Jai Jagannath, Jai Jagannath, Jai Baladev, Jai Subhadra, Jai Baladev, Jai Subhadra, Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada. Hati Kapan Sila Prabhupada, Hati Kapan Sila Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, Sila Prabhupada. Prabhupada की जय। मन पंडा श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। पतित पावन श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। जस्ट हरे कृष्णा। प्रभु जी, एम आई ऑडिबल?
Yes, yes.
Yes, bro. Hare Krishna. Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna.
Hare. So, welcome, devotees. Although there are two less participants today, but nevertheless, we'll continue. Welcome to all and thanks for your time. So, today we'll be discussing the Srimad Bhagavatam um, shloka number first and second. Shloka number first and second on 33rd chapter of third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. That's the slokas we'll discuss today shortly. Hare Krishna. ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्तुत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुनिरये नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदाम्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुं श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपां साग्रजातं सगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सार्वभौतं परिजनसहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पदम सहगण ललिता श्री विशाखावितं तम। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासरि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। So I will project the shlokas and we will discuss on that. First shloka of 33rd chapter, and this is the last chapter of this canto. मैत्रेय उवाच एवं निशम्य कपिलस्य वचो जनित्री सातमकर्दमस्य दयिता किल देवहूतिः विस्तृस्तमोहपटला तमभि प्रणम्य तुष्टाव तत्त्वविशाङ्कित सिद्धिभूमिम्। Word to word translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Maitreya Uvacha, Maitreya said, Evam, thus, Nishamya, being heard. Kapilasya, of Lord Kapila. Vachaha, words. Janitri, the mother, Sa, she. Kardamasya, of Kardama Muni. Daita, the dear wife. Pila, him namely, Devahuti, he Devahuti, Visrasta, Redka, Moha Patala, the covering of illusion, Tam unto him, Abhipranamasya, having offered obeisances. Tushtva, recited prayers. Tattva, basic principle. Vishaya, in the matter of. Ankita, the author. Siddhi, the of liberation. Bhumi, the background. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Sri Maitre said, thus Devavati, the mother of Lord Kapila and wife Kardama Muni, became freed from all ignorance concerning devotional service and transcendental knowledge. She offered her obeisances unto the Lord, the author of the basic principles of Sankhya system of philosophy, which is the background of liberation, and she satisfied him with the following verses of prayer. Purport. The system of philosophy enunciated by Lord Kapila before his mother is the background for situation on the spiritual platform. The specific significance of this system of philosophy stated herein as Siddhi Bhumi. It is background of salvation. People who are suffering in this material world because they are conditioned by material energy can easily get freedom from the clutches of matter by understanding the Sankhya philosophy enunciated by Lord Kapila. By this system of philosophy, one can immediately become free even though one is situated in this material world. That stage is called Jivana Mukti. This means that one is liberated even though one stays with his material body. That happened for Devavati, the mother of Lord Kapila, and she therefore satisfied the Lord by offering her prayers. Anyone who understands the basic principle of Sankhya philosophy is elevated in the devotional service and become fully Krishna conscious or liberated even within this material world. This is the first sloka. I am going to second sloka now. देवौतिरुवाच अतोपि अन्तःसलिले सायनं भूतेन्द्रियार्थात्मयं वपुस्ते ऋणप्रवाहं सदशेषबीजं दद्यौ स्वयं यज्जठरात् अब्जजातः. Devavati said, word to word meaning. Devavati uvacha. Devavati said, Atha api, moreover, Ajaha, Lord Brahma, Anta Salile in the water, Shayanam lying, Bhuta, the material elements, Indriya, the senses, Artha, the sense object, Atma, the mind, Mayam, pervaded by, Vapu, body, Te, your, Punapravaham, the source of stream of three modes of material nature, Sat, manifest, Ashesha, upon, Bijam, the seed, Daddayu, meditated upon, Swayam, himself, Yat, of whom, Jatara of the abdomen, Abja from the lotus flower, Jataha born. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Devavati said, Brahma is said to be unborn because he takes birth from the lotus flower which grows from your abdomen while you lie in the ocean at the bottom of the universe. But even Brahma simply meditated upon you, whose body is source of unlimited universes. Brahma is also named Aja. He who is born. Aja means he who is unborn. Whenever we think of someone's birth, there must be maternal father and mother. For those, one is born. But Brahma, being the first living creature within this universe, was born directly from the body of Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is also known as Garbhodakshayi Vishnu, the Vishnu form lying down in the ocean at the bottom of universe. Devavati wanted to impress upon the Lord that when Brahma wants to see him, he has to meditate upon him. You are the seed of all creation, she said. Although she said, that is what she said, you are all seed of all creation. Although Brahma was directly born from you, he still has to perform many years of meditation, and even then he cannot see you directly face to face. Your body is lying within the vast water at the bottom of the universe, and thus you are known as Garbhodakshayi Vishnu. The nature of Lord's gigantic body is explained in this verse. That body is transcendental, untouched by matter. Since the material manifestation has come from his body therefore existed before the material creation. The conclusion is that the transcendental body of the Vishnu is not made of material elements. The body of Vishnu is source of all living entities as well as the material nature, which is also supposed to be the energy of Supreme Personality of Godhead. Devavati said, "You are the background of material manifestation and all created energy. Therefore, you are delivering me from the clutches of Maya by explaining the system of Sankhya philosophy is not so astonishing. But you are being born from my abdomen is certainly wonderful because although you are the source of all creation, you have so kindly taken birth as my child. That is my wonderful. That is most wonderful. Your body is the source of all universe, and still you put your body within the abdomen of common woman like me. To me, that is most astonishing. Hare Krishna. Krishna. मैत्रेय उवाच एवं निशम्य कपलस्य वचो जनित्रे सकर्दमस्य दयिता किल देवहूति विस्तत्र मोहपटला तमभि प्रणम्य तुष्टावतत्त्वविषयाङ्कित सिद्धिभूमिम् देव सेकंड श्लोका देवहूति उवाच अथापि अजोवन्त सलिले शयाना भूतेन्द्रियार्थात्ममयं वपुस्ते गुणप्रवाहं सदशेषबीजं तद्य स्वयं जठरात् अब्जजातः हरे कृष्णा. Okay, so we are ending this chapter, right? We are ending this 33rd chapter. And this is, of course, ending the 32nd chapter we ended, and this is the starting of 33rd chapter. That I meant to say that, and this is the last chapter. So I'll just give the background. The scene here is, as you know, but I'm just sort of recapping. Kapila Muni had spoken the Sankhya philosophy to Mother Devati. His mother was Devati and Kardama Muni was his father. Kardama Muni already left for the forest for further tapasya. He took a sannyasa, and Devati mother, she got a son, and he was the incarnation of Lord Vishnu, that is Lord Kapila. And he specifically came to give the Sankhya philosophy to the human race. And Lord Kapila explained this philosophy to Devavati, Mother Devavati. And she was very grateful to Lord Kapila after speaking this philosophy because she got liberated. So first sloka of this chapter says that Devavati is explaining, Devavati is showing her gratitude to Lord Kapila, saying that thanks for explaining this philosophy to me. I am very much grateful to you. That is what she is explaining in the first sloka, right? And second sloka, she is also continuing saying that ki, she is praising the Lord Vishnu, Lord Kapila, that you are the source of all source of everything, material as well as spiritual creation. Although Lord Brahma looks to be the creator of this material universe, but he is also secondary creator. But Vishnu or Lord Kapila is the original creator. That is a primary creator. That's a second shloka says. Now, what we are saying here is, and this whole Bhagavatam, piece of this Bhagavatam is explained by Maitreya Muni to Vidura. That's a background. Okay. So this is the scene here, and Devavati is sort of praising Lord. Now this chapter overall says activities of Lord Kapila, because we are starting with first verse. I'm just explaining what this chapter is all about. So this chapter, Sankhya philosophy is already concluded, said by narrated by Lord Kapila. But this chapter says ki activity of Lord Kapila means why Lord Kapila came. Just summarizing the whole content. Lord Kapila came for what purpose? Then Mother Devavati was expressing her gratitude to her. Then Lord Kapila also praised her, and he also explained why he came in the further shlokas. We are not going to cover all this. I am just telling the summary. So then Mother Devati say thanks, and Lord Kapila say yes, and why he has come. Okay. And then he leaves for the forest. And Lord Kapila, it is said that he's still there meditating in the banks of Ganga, it's near Ganga Sagar. And he's all this, and where Mother Devoti then continued. Mother Devoti then continued her life completely meditating on Lord, and she was fully absorbed into devotional service. After hearing Lord Sankhya philosophy, she fully remained absorbed in the devotional service of Lord, and then she quit the body. But of course, it is said that her body was so transcendental. Her body was not material. Her body was converted spiritual, and all those atoms and all those bodies converted into river, and that's what it said. So this is the further shlokas says further, and then that ends the chapter. So um, so now Sankhya philosophy. Okay, so Sankhya philosophy is basically we should understand, because Sankhya philosophy, some people may take it as some mental speculation or some too much deep philosophy, and some people may take it as if it is some philosophical discussion and no devotion there. But that's a wrong concept. Vaishnavas doesn't believe in that sort of Sankhya philosophy. There was one more Kapila, atheist Kapila. Prabhupada explains that he took this Sankhya philosophy and converted into atheism or Mayavada, where he's not talking about devotional service. Now we should be very careful in understanding. So Sankhya philosophy, as we have been discussing, is basically Sankhya means Sankhya and numbers. So he gave this philosophy to all these devotees form in number, and Sankhya means number, and he's talking about 24 elements. So it is a philosophy. It is not some ritual or something. Okay. Devotional service, there will be ritual, there will be worship, and there's philosophy also. Both are equally important. We have to follow the philosophy and religion both. Religion means rituals and worship and all those things. And philosophy means what is the basic tattva, what is the basic principle behind all this. So Sankhya philosophy is talking about very basic tattvas. If you translate, so in English, if you have to speak on Sankhya philosophy, it's like an elementary study of this material nature. But one thing we should understand, elementary means what? Now, we as a scientist or as a chemist, we take elementary means at a very micro level. Okay, element, iron, phosphorus, and we go to atom level, then proton, neutron, and this, that, electron, and then further they have cut everything into this. But all that, what they are explaining is more of of course, that is the material nature they are studying. But we call that as an element. But here it is not like that. Here, element means actually the basic principle, below which we cannot go. So we cannot go below the element. It is a very fundamental level, elementary level. Now, what are those elements? 24 elements. Five, five elements of like earth, water, ether, fire, air. These are the Panchamahabhuta, 5 elements, material nature, material elements, of which this whole Prakriti is made up of. Then there are Jnanendriyas. Okay, there are Jnanendriyas. Then there are Karmendriyas. Like Jnanendriyas means sense of touch, sense of smells, all this, 5, seeing, hearing. And then Karmendriyas means sense of walking, sense of ear cutting, sense of talking, like that. 15. Jnanendriya, Karmendriyas, 5 Panchamahabhutas, air, water, earth, ether, fire. So we can understand all. And then there are 5 sense objects. Means when you talk about sense of taste, means taste itself is some object. The taste is there in this around us. The element of taste is there. Then only you can taste something. So you have got sense of taste, but there has to be something to get tested. And that is also there, available in the material nature. Like that's his sound. Okay. 5 sense objects which we consume or which we use for our senses. So when senses come in touch with sense object, there is some sense enjoyment. That's the way. Okay. So 20, right? Then Mana, Buddhi, Ahankar. Mind, intelligence, ego. Man, we know man. Man is a sense. Man is not, man is a material element. Man is not a spiritual. Man is a material, it is a dead matter. It's a dead matter in the sense it's a subtle, but dead means not literally dead like iron or some lump of soil, not like that. But it's very subtle, but it is not alive. It is a some material very subtly made. It's like a software. It's like a software. So when you run the computer and with software is not just because computer interacts with us, doesn't mean the whole computer or that software program is live. No, that is just it is looks like that, but it's not. It's a dead element only, but it is very subtle. It's not very gross. So we feel sometimes oh it is like alive. So that's why we feel oh my mind, and we feel mind is like a live thing. It looks like so yeah. It is that way. It looks like very live, but then it is like a coating on your consciousness. Okay, so that's a very subtle part of it we should do. So mind intelligence, we use analysis, analytical power to discriminate what is good, right, wrong, and the knowledge storehouse. So all that is intelligence. That's also there. And that's also dead only. That's also material nature only. But it is subtle. So they looks like they are very live. But no, they are sitting on our soul. They are like covered materials, mind, material intelligence, ego, false ego are covering our consciousness. And that's why this is called subtle body. It's not gross body, but it is not soul. It is subtle body. It's like, you know, medium between soul and the gross body. So this is intelligence. But it's basically material element. False ego is also material element which connects soul and gross body. Nevertheless, this is 23 and 24th is basically the, some people call it 24 is a Kala, time element. And some people call it no whole Mahatattva. Well, all that sum total of all this is itself is 24. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's all are there. And then of course soul is there and super soul that goes on 25, 26. That's the way it is. Anyway, nevertheless. So this is more of a discussion. So all those Sankhya philosophy, Lord Kapila has given that all those Sankhya philosophy discusses about these 24 elements, their interaction, how their interaction is taken care, taken, how these interactions are happening. And all these interactions are happening with the background observer of soul. So soul is observing all this and these interactions happening. So you are testing something, the soul is observing and perceiving. Not only observing, it's perceiving also. So when you are testing something, your sense of taste, sense of tongue is engaged in testing some fruit. That is a sense object. Sweet, yeah. And then so soul is witnessing this, is observing, is perceiving all this. So soul is there, 24 elements is as a material nature that Lord has created. Lord has created this material nature. And soul is observing and perceiving all this material element. And thus he is getting interacting with this material world. This is Sankhya. But of course, Sankhya philosophy doesn't stop here. But of course, if you go by normal, of course, there are some religionists or some devotees, they will say, we don't want to have this Sankhya philosophy. I'm okay just worshipping the Lord and putting my devotional service. That's also okay. Nothing wrong in that. But in absence of philosophy, what is likely to happen is we may get distracted, we may get wrong directed, or we may emotionally get carried away because our mind is very strong. So to keep our devotional service very intact and keep progressing and increasing the quality of devotional service, we should understand the Sankhya philosophy, which is explanation of this material world, soul, its purpose, and who is super soul and everything together, and why devotional service we should do. Sankhya philosophy will ultimately take it to devotional service. Otherwise, it's not then genuine Sankhya philosophy. Many followers of Sankhya philosophy got misdirected by atheist Kapila, not the Lord Kapila, atheist Kapila. There was one more Kapila some centuries back. He directed into completely wrong direction and he took it as if there is nothing God and all that. You are only atoms and all that. And then once you get rid of this material nature, there is nothing or you escape. Some Mayavad or some mixture of also. It's not authenticated. Bhagavatam, that's why Bhagavatam is important. We should go by Bhagavatam. Lord Kapila's philosophy explanation is there. And that clearly tells material elements are there. Who created those elements? Who are you? Your soul. You are not material elements. So what is your purpose? Why you came here? Then how to get rid of this? Why you are here? People remains here. Why soul remains in material world? Due to your fruitive desire for fruitive activities. I want to do this. I want that fruit. I want that success. I want this. I want that. Okay, so we identify ourselves with the body and we keep doing karma. You get karma phala. Again, you attach to that is what also being explained. So if it is 24 elements only, why Lord Kapila will explain fruitive activities, soul, and what is his bad condition in the material world? He remains in womb of mother for months, suffers so much, again suffer after coming out of womb also there is a suffering. Why he should tell that? Because he has to tell you the soul that what is the purpose of life and what is your problem. So he's telling you are stuck into material life. Your purpose of material life is not to be in the material life. But he says you have to get rid of this material nature. Why? Because you're suffering material nature. Lord Kapila is telling that. So obviously, then he's telling how. Then he's telling you adopt devotional service because who is the creator of material nature? In the second sloka, Prabhupada explained. Is who is the creator? Brahma is the creator of material nature as a secondary creator. He's an engineer who creates. But he only creates of this material nature using the material elements which is already given to him. Right? So he's only manipulating like an engineer. We are most of us are engineer or doctors. So what we do, we mix some elements and make some chemical or mix some machine and make some purpose out of it, material purpose. But elements are already there. You are not creating this element. You are only using some physical chemical principles. You know that. That also principle exists. We are only studying it. That also we are not able to study fully, but somehow we feel. Because what we do as a chemist or engineers or whatever, all science, so-called modern material science, we put everything into mathematical empirical correlations. Oh, this phenomenon like this. Hence, I'll put into mathematical correlation. We don't know whether that is 100% true. We are interpreting those material observations into some mathematical formula at that moment. That formula changes when one scientist comes, no, this, this is wrong. This is not perfect. Some that sci-fi, that value is something different. So you correct it to the second digit and we correct it. And again say, no, all these theories, no, not perfect. Some other theory, you use some higher formula with 3, 4 extra constants, you know. So that keeps on going because we are trying to interpret this material world in the mathematical form. And that is more of an extrapolation. We are not seen it. We are not physically experienced it. We are physically experiencing only to the extent what your senses allow. But we don't know the reality beyond our senses. So we extrapolate that reality to the thing which we cannot experience. And this is what exactly is the speculative knowledge. So-called material science is speculative. Prabhupada says, why? Because we are mathematically correlating, empirically extrapolating all those our understanding and assuming that is truth for that moment, which we accept also, no, it may not be, but that is a way to put it. So we accept all this. Our science is not that perfect. It will evolve. We say science will evolve. But we say, okay, but we will go by this process only. We'll keep speculating whatever our sense can allow us. That much we will say and we'll put within that boundary. Beyond that, we extrapolate and assume it will be like that. It will be like that. For example, Mars, there is a life or not. On the moon, there is a life or not. On the Jupiter, there is life or not. On the sun, there is life or not. We are only speculating. We are thinking we want to see that life personally. Then only we'll say that life is exist. Now, whole, satellites and all that, what is that? That are trying to go to planets saying that we are trying to go there to see the life. So we sort of believe that life exists on other planets. That's why you are going and putting so many crores of money and sending your satellite there. And then you are trying to see if there is some life or not, some extraterrestrial life or not. This is what we are trying to do. So we believe that there may be life, but we want to see by our own naked eyes. That's not going to be possible. That's what Prabhupada said. Prabhupada said, why you are wasting your time and money? Vedas say there is a life on every planet, every moon of every planet, hundreds of billions of stars, billions, trillions of galaxies. Everywhere there is a life. Vedas says, and we believe into that as a devotee because there is life. Now we cannot see that. How you can go and stand on the sun to see where is there any life? You will get burnt. How you will see? But a living entity exists in fire also. Prabhupada said. Why? Because logic, simple logic. Living entities remains in water. Fish is comfortable in water. Snakes are comfortable in water. You will not be without any machine. But it exists. So can you say because I cannot stay in water, there is no life in the water? No. There is a life in water. We are able to see that. Similarly, you cannot go to sun and stand there. Doesn't mean there is no life there. There is a different body in tandem with ecological condition there of the sun, which is very hot, high temperature, but it remains. There are bacteria. Recently, they have found out viruses, bacteria, which are sustained at higher temperatures also in fire itself. Or there are some living entities which are at the center of the completely one round stone, which remains for years and years there, hundreds. There is no limit to this research. But Vedas text tells you, you go by Shabda Praman, go by authority, descending process. There is a life, Lord has given this life. Lord himself is saying there is a life. Demigods are there. Shastra says there is a life because he is coming from Shastras. Shastras are given by God. God has created this material. So God has created. He's telling you this is what it is. You just believe that. Simple. And but then experience it. We are not blindly believing. We have to experience, and that experience will come. Slowly it comes. Suddenly, of course, the experience doesn't mean you will be able to go to sun and see the light. That is a further you have to take other body, which will go in the next body. But at least spiritual principle, what is this material nature? All this understanding you will get, and you will get that glimpse, or you will get that clues that yes, this is what correct. Bhagavatam, every word is correct. That definite that knowledge or that conviction will come. Lord will give that intelligence. That is what devotee adopts the methodology. We don't get into all that equations and all that. Of course, we don't deny the material science, but we say it is imperfect. It may not be perfect. It may be erroneous at a time. It may be right sometime, but not a perfect, holistic. And most importantly, we say material science talks about material nature, material elements. There are 24 elements. But we say we are not material nature. What about we? We are soul. So material science doesn't distinguish soul and body. That's the problem. That's a fundamental problem. But spiritual science, bhakti, or all our transcendental Vedic knowledge says there is a soul. Soul is nothing to do with material nature. There are two different elements. And soul is perceiving all this. Soul is observing all this. He is observing this material nature. He is observer. Because without observer, how you can perceive the reality? So there is somebody who is aloof from all this. Very logically, we can say that. Logically, we can say that. So, Sankhya philosophy always culminates into devotional service. If Sankhya philosophy is not culminating to devotional service, that is wrong. That is some other speculated philosophy of Sankhya. That's what exactly happened some centuries back by atheist Kapila. But Lord Kapila says Sankhya philosophy, purpose of Sankhya philosophy. Who are you? Who is God? God has created whole material element. It is second, Prabhupada explains in second sloka. I'll just read it. Prabhupada explains in second sloka. Brahma is said to be unborn because he takes birth from the lotus flower which grows from your abdomen while you lie in ocean at the bottom of the universe. But even Brahma simply made it upon you with body source of unlimited universe. What Prabhupada explains, the nature of Lord's gigantic body is also explained in this verse. That body is transcendental, untouched by matter. Since the material manifestation come from his body therefore existed before material creation. So I will explain. I will not read everything, but I will explain. What Prabhupada is explaining here is, Shloka explains this and Prabhupada elaborates further. There is a material nature. This is coming from Brahma. Brahma creates this. From where Brahma is coming, Prabhupada explains, and then was Bhagavatam third canto creation explain that it's coming from navel lotus flower of Lord Vishnu. Lord Vishnu is Garbhodakshay Vishnu. Who is Garbhodakshay Vishnu? Garbhodakshay Vishnu is incarnation of Vishnu himself and Lord Krishna in the form of to have this material nature created, and he lies in each universe. There is a one Garbhodakshay, each universe, and there are how many universes? Unlimited, trillions, not even trillion, unlimited. And all the universes also coming from Mahavishnu, which are coming from pores of his body and the exile of his of the breath and pores of his body. That is unlimited. For each universes are coming. For each universe, there is one Garbhodakshay Vishnu. From that is the universe is like a egg shape. Brahmanda, Anda means egg shape. And there is a Garbhodakshay ocean. Above Garbhodakshay ocean, there is a Mahavishnu line, and from his navel, the lotus stem comes, lotus flower comes, from lotus flower Brahma comes, and he further creates the universe. Material elements are already given. That is Mahatattva, and then he creates this whole universe. Engineers it. Brahma engineers, he doesn't create, he engineers it. That's why we call secondary create. So Vishnu is there. So who is a creator? So Prabhupada explains, and but all this, all the universe itself is body of Vishnu, which is transcendental. Means Vishnu doesn't take birth. Okay. Vishnu, obviously Vishnu, everything is coming from Vishnu. He's the birth giver. So Vishnu is not like, okay, his body and all. There's nothing like body and soul of Vishnu. It's like whole body or soul is same. In spiritual world, body and soul is same. For even living entity, as of course, Vishnu's body is transcendental every time. So from his transcendental body, which is not just material element, material elements are coming from his body as a material element. But his body is transcendental, which is actually super soul. And that's the whole universal creation is basically Vishnu's gigantic body. That's the way it's explained in many places. So Prabhupada explained that is Vishnu. And so Sankhya, how it is linked to Sankhya? Because Sankhya talks about 24 elements, material element, done. But from where it is coming? It's coming from Mahatattva. From where Mahatattva is coming? It's coming from Lord Vishnu. From, of course, Lord Vishnu is a further expansion of Lord Krishna. That's a different process. Okay. So Sankhya philosophy talks about 24 elements, but it cannot be completed till you talk about who gave these 24 elements. What is this material creation? What is the purpose of material creation? And who created this supreme? Some God only can create. That's why he is God. So for every creation, there is a creator. So creation, when you talk of creation, but 24 material elements, we have to talk of creator. Creators means Lord Supreme. That Vedas says, and the Rishi Munis and all our Vedic knowledge, because they have seen God personally. Oh, this is Lord is telling, I have given this. So that's why the literature is coming. So everything is well connected. We have forgotten this whole thing due to ignorance, but it is well connected. So 24 elements Sankhya. Now we may discuss too much onto Sankhya philosophy. That is also fine. So we may be some more Jigyasu devotees. Devotees may study more about 24 and why this, how mind works, how intelligence works. But ultimately, any devotee can study as much knowledge as possible on Sankhya philosophy, on this part, philosophical part. There is no limit. But the whole purpose is we have to connect to Lord. We have to connect to soul and we have to connect to super soul. All this philosophy. Otherwise, it becomes useless. So philosophy is very important. Of course, because that's why Lord Kapila will give philosophy. If philosophy is not important, because there is always a discussion between how much philosophy and how much religion. Religion means our all our worships and all our vidhis and all the things. That's it's more of a feeling. Okay. That is the ultimate aim. We want to continuously worship Vishnu. We want to serve Vishnu. That is our natural constitutional position. We want to love Vishnu. So to love Vishnu, we do 9 devotional services. We express that our gratitude and love to Vishnu. We worship Vishnu in 9 devotional services. That is all Vaidhi Bhakti. That is there definitely. But why? But there is a philosophical understanding also has to be there. Why I worship this? Why this every worship is? Why there is some particular process? Who am I? Why I should worship Vishnu or Lord Krishna first of all? So, and then what is this material elements? Because we are using material elements at the service of Lord. So we should know what is material element, what is the interaction, what is Maya. All this whole Sankhya philosophy or philosophy as such we should know because it will make your devotion strong. This is one side. Must know philosophy as far as possible. We should read. That's why there is no alternative than to read Prabhupada books. So if Prabhupada books is philosophy, but of course it's not only dry philosophy. It takes you to devotional service. So Prabhupada is talking about devotional service as well as philosophy in his books. He's just putting everything in a proper context. So there is no choice but to read Prabhupada book. There is no alternative and we should not even think of that. Prabhupada books is must to read to know the philosophy. But it takes you to devotional service. So to progress in devotional service also, we should read Prabhupada book as a philosophical understanding. And how to do devotional service also incorporated in Prabhupada book. He tells everything, right? He explains everything. So that's why Prabhupada book is very important. Philosophy's fundamentals are very important. In absence of good fundamentals or philosophy, we may get deviated, we may get incorrect, we may leave the devotional service, we may fall down. Maya will catch you. Because it's very common in general also, in our material science also. If you know the fundamentals, it's easy to address any issue. If we don't know the fundamentals, then it becomes trial and error. That's the whole thing. After I am telling very graph example of material science, visual science is a bit different. Bit different is completely different, but basic of material science are valid in spiritual science also. It incorporates material science also in terms of understanding logic and everything. But we should understand spiritual science in that way. Okay, that's why Sankhya philosophy will not stop at the material aim. It will tell you, Lord Kapila will tell you go to devotional service, and this is your final aim of life. And Mother Devuti in the shloka says that Mother Devuti achieved the liberation by this philosophy. Further shloka says because she is telling, thanks, I got liberated. Jivan Mukta. Prabhupada used the word Jivan Mukta. I'll just read that part also. Just give it to me. So Jivan Mukta is Prabhupada used the word. By this system of philosophy, Prabhupada writes, one can immediately become free even though one is situated in this material world. That stage is called Jivana Mukti. This means that one is liberated even though one stays with this material body. That happened for Devoti, the mother of Lord Kapila, and she therefore satisfied the Lord by offering her prayers. Anyone who understands the basic principle of Sankhya philosophy is elevated to devotional service and becomes free as fully Krishna conscious are liberated even within this material world. Prabhupada explains perfectly this. See what Prabhupada is saying. Jivan Mukti. So, some people may say, or some people may ask, oh, what is meant by liberation? What will happen to us? What will happen to us by adopting devotional service? I am still in this body. I am not this body. You are saying, oh, you got stuck into this 24 elements. You have to come out of this, do devotional service. So what will happen to our body? So what Prabhupada explained here is Mother Devoti is an example like us. We have to follow her example. So she got liberated in body. Although she was having body, but her all body got converted to spiritual soul or transcendental body. That's the whole thing. So that this is what exactly Prabhupada explains and he cuts down the Mayavada philosophy here. How? Mayavadis say 24 elements are there and you just come out of this, leave the body, and then you become mukta. Prabhupada writes here, explains here, or Srimad Bhagavatam says, you can be liberated here itself. Your body itself gets spiritualized by Sankhya philosophy. So he's talking about soul and super soul and consciousness. So you have to change the consciousness. Once you become Krishna consciousness, everything becomes transcendental. That's the devotee. Devotional service says, we don't say, oh, this is material nature, oh, this is bad, oh, I want to reject this. No, 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 I am soul, I will go and meditate somewhere. We say, no, material elements are there, material nature, that's Lord's property. Lord is there, he is my master. I am there, I am your servant. I use the Lord's property in Lord's service. Simple. And yeah. So we devotees, Bhakti Yoga sees everything in a right perspective, in a realistic perspective. We don't deny material life. We are not negative about material life. We don't say that. We may say bad about material life. That doesn't mean we are negative about the material nature, because it is coming from Lord. How it can be bad? Whatever comes from Lord, everything comes from Lord. Nothing is bad. But since we are stuck into this material and our context is bad, we think we are material body. We think this is all in all. That is bad. If you think I am material nature, I am material body, that is bad. We don't say material nature is bad. But when you say no, I am soul, material nature is a dead material. It is a Prakriti by Lord. It's a different energy of Lord. It's a lower energy of Lord. Lord. Inferior energy of Lord. Lord's higher energy, Lord himself and his Yogamaya, internal potency. That is different. This is different. Everything is coming from Lord. I am in between. I am marginal potency of Lord. So we see everything in context and use this material nature in the service of Lord. That is the perfection of Sankhya Yoga. We don't stay only at 24 elements, keep blaming 24 elements. And neither we say, oh, I want to get rid of this 24 element, I'll be liberated. Who is Lord? I don't know. I have nothing to do with Lord. You cannot be liberated without knowing Lord. And you cannot get rid of this material nature without knowing Lord. Because once you talk about creation, you should talk about creator also. When you understand creator, creation, and their purpose as a third party observer, you understand everything perspective, you get liberated because you are rightly placed. You are seeing everything factually. That is what devotional service means, Bhakti Yoga means. That's why it is at highest level. Sankhya yogis, so-called Sankhya yogis. Sankhya yogis are Bhakti yogis only, but so-called half through Sankhya yogis, or they know I am nothing like Lord, they know their devotion. Sankhya is only 24 element. Jnana yogi, you can't call it. They are not perfect because they are not ultimately dwelling on the final purpose of this material nature. The whole philosophy is to surrender to Lord. In doing so, once you understand philosophy, you will understand. So Prabhupada says material, Lord's body is transcendental. Your body is material. Means Lord is beyond all this. That proves existence of God. And why not? Because when there is a creation, there is a creator. So Sankhya philosophy, we may study Sankhya philosophy thousands of years. But if you don't understand simple thing, Baba, 24 elements are created, but who created it? So when you understand the creation, it is imperative to understand creator. So Sankhya philosophy and devotional service is together. They cannot be separated. And once you make it together, once you understand everything, you are a devotional service. Devotional Sankhya philosophy is not end of it. At the end of philosophy, ultimately you have to do something. Philosophy is to understand the principle. What next? After understanding, oh, I am not body, I am soul. Okay, super soul. Okay, then what next? Oh, you are supposed to go to surrender to Lord. You have to establish that connection between Lord and you, soul and super soul. That's the final aim of Sankhya philosophy. That is devotional service. It's a common sense. It's common sense. Simple. That is the way we should understand everything. Okay, so this is the way Sankhya philosophy is studied. So Prabhupada explains in second sloka, Lord's body, he explains. So I'm just summarizing. Prabhupada explains in second sloka, Lord's body is transcendental. That is the one point. And he explains in first sloka, Jivana Mukta means your body, you can be liberated right in the same body. What is that? It is nothing but a change of consciousness. Your consciousness of material consciousness. I am material, I am body, I am body. This is for me, me, boss, I am the boss. This is everything is for me. That consciousness, when you change, oh, that is Lord, I am his servant. It is for me, for Lord. I am also his servant. There is some control of me also on material element, but I want to use that control, or I want to use that independence in service of Lord. That is what. So in the once your consciousness goes to this, you are Jivan Mukta in this matter. We don't have to worry about too much at this stage about, oh, where I'll go to after this material body, Vaikuntha, Goloka, Vrindavana. All that is fine. That is there, definitely. But we do not worry too much on that. You just worry about changing our consciousness. In the same body, you become liberated, and next body you will get it there. You will get you will. That is the whole process. So we should not be very too much negative about material nature, about this. Oh, this is this. No, this is my material body. This is Lord's property. I am Lord's servant. I'll use it, and everything is fine. Everything is okay as long as everything is right. Everything is in perfect context as long as you connect everything to Lord. So we devotees are not interested in leaving this material world, going to spiritual world, and all that. That is also there, but fundamentally, the best devotee, highest platform of the devotional service, Uttam Adhikari is he had changed his consciousness to 100% Krishna consciousness. One thing. Secondly, he has understood everything in right context and he's utilizing everything, material energy, spiritual energy, his own desire into service of Lord. And that is and it doesn't matter where he doesn't say, I want to go to Vrindavana or I want to go to Golok Vrindavana. It's fine if he goes. Even though he's in material world, he remains, but he is consistently doing the devotional service. Lord is okay. That is the way our Lord, our Acharyas has explained. Doesn't matter where are you. You can be happy in this life itself if you adopt the devotional service, perfectly surrender to Lord. That's the whole thing. That is what devotional service is so potent. Doesn't matter where are you will be taken to that highest consciousness and you will be blissful. Satchidanand can be achieved here itself. This is how it is simple. Okay, so devotional service. So this is how Sankhya Yoga is. And in the next sloka, as I told, of this chapter, Mother Devoti appreciates, thanks to Lord Kapila. Lord Kapila explains again why I came here. Then he leaves to the I mean, meditation means he is the Lord. He doesn't have to meditate, but to do for further thing. And Mother Devoti, in spite of her opulent palace, Kardama Muni has had built a very highly opulent palace. She lives there, but she lives as if she has nothing to do with this opulence. She just continued doing the devotional service and she quits her body. In the sense, her body gets spiritualized and it becomes river, and she also gets liberated. And this is the way it completes. And Lord Kapila is there. And Lord Kapila has given this philosophy. That's the whole chapter further explains. We'll see later. Okay, so this is how it is. This is the whole philosophy of Sankhya philosophy we explained, and I tried to explain all further. Okay, so we'll stop here, and I'll suggest any questions or comments or something. Devotees can speak, and we can discuss further. Hare Krishna. Okay, so if there are no questions or comments, then we can conclude the session today. Hare Krishna. So, so I think there's no question. So we'll conclude now. Hare Krishna. Thanks all devotees for joining the session. Thanks for your time. Hare Krishna. Advantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. So we are logging off now. We'll see you next week. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.